And we're back for our next installation of Artists and Their Pets. And we have an exciting one for you today. I'm excited. I'm learning a lot, and I hope that you are too, about our artists. But today we have a contemporary one, which the books didn't, I don't think the kid artist one got into contemporary, anyone still living at least. So this is exciting because this is a living, breathing, still creating, working artist. And, fix that back. And his name is Ai Weiwei. And to be honest, I think I'm saying it right. So I'm going to just keep going with that and apologize for any mispronunciations in advance. That will no doubtedly come up as I'm sure there'll be other names and words, cities and whatnot. Anyway, Ai Weiwei, a Chinese philosopher and artist. One of the world's most influential and talked about contemporary artists, Ai Weiwei lives with about 40 cats in his Beijing studio home. He treats them with great respect and they choose him, not the other way around. He lives with 40 cats. I was looking at pictures and I saw he had a lot of cats. I didn't know it was that bananas. I want to go to his studio and just snuggle all those kitties. Also notice here in the background are like some sort of drawings of some of his sculptures. A lot he does do animals, like the zodiac. I'll show some pictures of that later. The most famous contemporary Chinese artist, Ai Weiwei, lives with lots of cats. He is also a human rights activist, and because of this, he has been arrested in China and put under surveillance, watched by the authorities. Meanwhile, he continues to make a wide variety of art, combining his belief in helping others with his love of art. His creations range from huge installations and architectural projects to small constructions, photographs, and videos. See him with his cat working on, I would presume, an installation or sculpture there. Ai was born in Beijing in 1957. His father, Ai Qing, is the Q-I in Chinese? Qing? Ai Qing was one of China's most important modern poets. At 21, Ai went to the Beijing Film Academy and studied animation. 3 years later, he moved to New York so he could attend the famous Parsons School of Design. In 1985, he went to the Art Students League of New York for 3 years. New York, New York. Everybody wants to go to New York when they're a young artist. When he finished studying, Ai stayed in New York City and earned money by working odd jobs and drawing portraits. In between, he created art out of ready-made objects, Marcel Duchamp. Everywhere he went, he carried a camera and took photos, recording all of what he saw. He also became fascinated by blackjack card games and casinos. In 1993, he returned to China because his dad was ill. With his great energy, Ai carried on doing many different things. First, he helped to establish an artist group called Beijing East Village, which, if you didn't know, in New York, the East Village is like, hip, artist, whatever. Then in 1994, 95, and 97, he and a friend published 3 books about the artists in the group. In 1999, he built himself a studio house in the northeast of Beijing. 4 years later, he started an architectural studio called Fake Design, and that's in all caps. Fake. In honor of his dad, Ai created the Ai Qing Memorial and Junhao Ai Qing Cultural Park, Junhao Zhejiang, in 2003. In 2005, he was asked to write a blog, which he wrote each day for 4 years, expressing many thoughts, including criticisms of his government, ideas about art and architecture, and stories about his life. Again, I have to apologize. I'm going to butcher these pronunciations, and bless one of my little first graders' hearts, Joya. She's always trying to teach me a new Chinese word every day that I would dismiss her class. And she'd tug on my jacket, and Miss Grace, Chinese word for today, and she'd tell it to me, and I would try to watch a million different kids, making sure they're being dismissed correctly, and just trying to remember that word she'd teach me every day, and I couldn't, but I love her for every time remembering. I'm sorry, Joya, I'm mispronouncing. In May, excuse me, getting a little phlegmy. In May 2008, a huge earthquake. Okay, yeah, I thought I skipped a line. I didn't. I'm sorry. In May 2008, a huge earthquake hit the Sichuan province in southwest China. Thousands of people died. I led a team to film where the earthquake had happened. Through an investigation, he found out the names of all the children who had died in the disaster. He believed that cheap materials and poor construction methods had been used to build schools and other buildings, which was why they collapsed in the earthquake and so many had died. It's really sad. He made an art installation out of his findings, including lists of all the children's names that had died and a massive curving sculpture made of 90 tons of bent and twisted rebar, the metal used to reinforce buildings. I collected and straightened it all by hand, creating a monument to the victims. He was imprisoned for 81 days by the Chinese authorities in 2011 because of this. So because he was brave enough to speak up and make a statement, they arrested him. But do you think that stopped him? Perseverance, y'all. Ai's art often mixes Chinese culture and heritage with the art and culture that he experienced in America. And he uses this to comment on how we all live, standing up for those who are oppressed or leading difficult lives. To do this, he boldly crosses many boundaries and accepted art ideas. He says that the 20th century French artist Marcel Duchamp and German artist Joseph Beuys are his biggest influence. I knew it. I called it. Well, I didn't say the Beuys one, but hey. Like these artists challenged conventions in life and in art. Ai is one of the first famous artists to use social media such as Instagram and Twitter. Tweet, tweet. Yet he also emphasizes traditional Chinese crafts. In some works, he has considered how the industrial world has made craft less important, such as in Colored Vases of 2009 to 10, which hopefully you are seeing right here, or nice and big, Colored Vases. An excerpt in ancient Chinese ceramics. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. An expert in ancient Chinese ceramics, he collected several priceless Han Dynasty pots and painted them in vivid colors, which was shocking in itself. Then he was filmed smashing them. This showed his opinion that machine-made objects are replacing valuable craft-made items that were created with precision and skill. Another of his works was an installation at Tate Modern in London called Sunflower Seeds in 2010. Approximately 1,600 Chinese craft workers made 100 million hand-painted porcelain sunflower seeds, which were poured onto the floor. The porcelain seeds represented the Chinese people. So, I think that's all really, I want to debrief after every paragraph in this chapter. This is all really interesting, but I would say the Chinese, I'm probably going to put up pictures, so I maybe don't even need to say this, but the Han Dynasty pots, I think typically, are earthy muted colors, sometimes in blues and whites. So for him to paint them in shocking colors was shocking. Bright colors, vivid colors, shocking. Nonetheless, then to just go and break them. For some time, I was watched by the authorities and had to work in a building with cameras on him all day. Big brother. To keep him company, he encouraged local cats to join him, and recognizing his kindness and compassion, many soon made themselves at home around him. He always loved cats, and now he shares the studio he designed for himself in Beijing with more than 40 of them, plus several dogs. He also often posts pictures of the animals on Instagram. I'm going to go follow that immediately. I can't believe I'm not already following him. In 2006, in one of his blog entries, he wrote, "The cats and dogs in my home enjoy a high status. They seem more like the lords of the manor than I do." Absolutely love that. So you see a little picture down here of all the kitty cats. And I just love that. He kind of, I guess I'll show that one too since it's down there. I love that he just accepted them. Was like, yeah, sure, come on in. And then they just were like, meow, like to their buddies, like, come here. I hear about this guy. He's got some tuna. It's cool. Come on over. Cute. I respects and loves all the cats and dogs that live with him and gives them as much freedom as he can. It gives him great happiness to make them feel safe and comfortable. I make sure they are all well fed, and he is affectionate with all of them. They are allowed to wander around his work, and they give him great pleasure, he explained. The poses they strike in the courtyard often inspire more joy in me than the house itself. Their self-important positions seem to be saying, this is my territory, and that makes me happy. However, I've never designed a special place for them. I can't think like an animal, which is part of the reason that I respect them. It's impossible for me to enter into their realm. See a bunch of them down there, playing around in his studio courtyard and all the materials of the art. And then we have our little animal side note here. In 2012, a documentary, Ai Weiwei, Never Sorry, I told how one of his cats had learned to open doors. And then there you see the picture of the cat trying to open the door. I haven't seen that documentary, so maybe I'll watch that while I'm working today. Should put that on. But the note of cats opening doors, I'm pretty sure like if we had those types of flat door handles, our cats would open the doors. We have the round kind, so it's a little harder to grab. But they did used to flush toilets. They haven't done that in a long time, but they used to. All of Ai's art develops from what he sees in the world around him, mixed with his understanding of human nature. Much of it is precisely and carefully designed and produced, often using traditional... Time out. There's a cat back here. Go away. A wide range of materials as well as... I'm going to make this whole thing come down. Wide range of materials. As well as being an artist, he has worked as a card player, filmmaker, photographer, writer, painter, publisher, curator, architect, and blogger. He has had I'm so distracted. He has had large solo exhibitions of his art in America, Britain, Taiwan, and Germany, and he has been involved with important architectural projects, including... He's trying to attack my leg. Including helping to design the 2008 Olympic Stadium in Beijing and the 2012 Serpentine Galleries Pavilion in London. He has won several prestigious prizes, including a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Chinese... You see the background moving. From the Chinese Contemporary Art Awards in 2008 and Amnesty International's Ambassador of Conscious Award in 2015. Just a little cat playing with, looks like maybe a glove, I don't know, but it also looks like a bird tail. Anyway, so that is Ai Weiwei and his story with his cats. And all right, my cat's finally come from behind the curtain, so hopefully he won't mess with us again. I hope he didn't scratch up my green screen too much. So Ai Weiwei, still working, still living, still creating art and fighting for people. And I do hope he's okay during this time of self-isolation. But I imagine with all 40 of his cats, he's got to have some joy in his life, assuming he's in his Beijing studio. I think the obvious thing here to ask of you, if you are going to make something inspired by Ai Weiwei, is to make art that sends a message, that stands up for something important that you believe in. So whatever materials you have, in whatever means that you think you can express that message. So maybe you're hanging something in the window, or putting something out like on your front stoop or lawn if you have a lawn, or maybe you're making a piece that is digital and shared through Instagram and social media that sends a message for something you strongly believe in. You could think about topical things like the need to stay home during this time and maintain social distancing, or you could do something that was more relevant while you were in school, like something against bullying, or clean and healthy schools, or better school lunches, any kind of topic that you believe in that you feel is worth making a message about. So it doesn't even have to be school related. It could be about like family life, ending abuse, child abuse, and or maybe something about climate change. You could look at Greta Thunberg for that. But yeah, make something that has a message and share it. The point of that type of art is that people do see it and know and understand the message. It shouldn't be hidden, so make sure that it's clear either through the imagery or through your artist statement, which is important, because if something is an abstracted idea and people look at it and don't necessarily see that, then they're going to rely on your artist statement, what you wrote about your art. My art is speaking to my feelings on the need for people to maintain social distancing at 6 feet. So in creating a sculpture where everything was 6 feet apart, I have portrayed that message, or something like that. So you get the idea, so that you are able to explain yourself. All right. Okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You'll see me tomorrow, or whenever you click the video. Tomorrow's Friday. We're getting through this. One day, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time. Miss you all. See you soon.